Hi there, welcome back to Japan, where we're going to be doing a reaction review to BiSH's new song, which is called Story of Duty. Now, as you probably are already aware, this is the review video. If you want to see the reaction, I have just recorded that, and you can watch that by pausing this video, clicking the little link in the description below, which opens up a separate little player where you can watch the video. If you haven't seen it before, if you just want to see it, if you just want to see what I thought when I first saw it a few seconds ago, or any of that, otherwise here comes the review. So are you ready for the review? Are you ready for me to review this song? I'm going to review the hell out of this song. Are you ready? Don't say I didn't warn you. Okay, so this one is interesting. I had heard, like I say, I tried not to pick up on why people, I'd heard mixed opinions in our Discord about what people thought of this song, who I believe had heard the audio before the actual song itself came out. As a video, and I saw some people liked it, some people disliked it, so I tried not to read their reasoning, so I didn't want to bias what I was to expect. But when it came in, I got to admit that I can see why this is one of those ones which would probably split people quite a lot, because it reminded me, in a sort of weird way, a lot of Passcode. And Passcode are a group who, are pretty divisive. They split a lot of people, especially on our Discord. They're not everyone's favourite because of the fact they go for quite a heavy produced sound, I think. Now, they weren't going full on with that. They weren't using like sort of heavy auto-tune and things like that, but they were going for that kind of EDM, lots of effects, lots of production. And this is a direction I haven't heard them go recently. I mean, they've covered so much ground, it's almost difficult for them to do something that they haven't done before, something completely original for them. But in this particular case, I felt like it was nice and refreshing, because I haven't really heard them do anything too much like this, of too much prominence too recently. Now, it comes in straight away with that synth element's really nicely dealt with. I like the fact it's got that slightly cheeky dissonance to it. It reminds me a little bit of the sorts of riffs you'd expect from latter-day Prodigy. Thinking a lot of the stuff on Invaders Must Die, that kind of tone. And then also backing that up with a really sort of heavy beat. And you can tell immediately we're going for that kind of head-banging EDM direction. It's kind of got a slightly pop meets rave quality, again, playing towards that Prodigy example. And then, when it kicks in, I love the fact the vocals come in. The vocals are kind of initially deadened by some distortion, so you get a feeling that we're going for something which is trying to build up tension. It's kind of sounding a little bit gritty, a little bit gnarly, reminds you a little bit of the, I can never remember the name, it was one of my favourite ones, but I never remember the name of it. It's the second track off of Carrots and Sticks. The one where the video with the zombification, you know the one I mean. It kind of reminded me of that by the fact it started off so heavy, and not guitar driven this time really, but started off heavy and with the distorted vocals. But what I liked then is that it really went around switching things up. Now this is where it didn't do it in the sort of Passcode way where it's constantly changing like the rhythm of the song and everything like that. But here it was more a case of keeping the same time signature, keeping the same framework, so you're still bobbing your head at the same pace, but then sort of having like half-time beats and things come in, having changes in the vocal rhythm, which was really nice, the melody. These are all things you'd expect to develop through a song, and yet they are things that you perhaps don't expect so much to change in songs that lean into the EDM side of things. So it was really nice for me that they were keeping this with a lot of sort of pop writing acumen, and that kind of showed in the chorus, which was kind of funny because the chorus had a real juxtaposition in that the melody becomes sort of big and held notes and has that sort of grand chorus quality, and yet the backing is still sort of chugging along heavy as ever as basically an EDM backing. There was just a lot of nice touches to it. Is it good? This is the difficult one. Is it really worthy of being a single, is what I think a lot of people would be shouting when they see something like this come out. I would say that it does kind of depend on what your personal criteria is for justifying a single. In that, is it a song, I guess, that stands out that you would purchase on its own, by its own right? Well, on the basis of the chorus, probably not. I mean, the chorus was good enough, it was functionally good, but it wasn't one of those ones that stuck in your head. I mean, if you asked me to try and hum it back right now, having just heard the song a couple of minutes earlier, I don't think I could. I just know it's got some held notes in it. However, the overall tone of the song was so engaging, and I can see why they chose it for something like this. We're talking about the world of first-person shooter video games. We're talking about things where people are hyperactive, zooming into the screen with your eyes, sort of 10 million finger presses a second sort of thing. It's about the hyperactive, and this song certainly feels like it's in keeping with that kind of tone. So I definitely think that they've picked the right place to market this song, not knowing, of course, if this song was written beforehand. I'm assuming it was all sort of contractually agreed and the song was written to match the arrangement or whatever, the business deal that was already put in place. But it did work, and I think it got the best out of both that cross-collaboration between the two and out of them. Like I say, it was nice to hear them doing something like this. I haven't heard them do this kind of thing in a little while. And it also was something that, like I say, they just really nailed, as is often the case. Every time they go for a different sound, they've got the right writers, they've got the right producers always on hand, and they just kind of nail it. And as always, they give the right vocal performance. I did really like the fact that, again, like I say, you had the story a bit at the beginning where everything's supposed to sound, the vocals are supposed to sound kind of, not muted, but everything's sort of digitized. It's got that distorted sound, overproduced. And then when it comes into the bits where they're singing kind of together and they're sort of call and answering, bouncing the words between each other, then the personality comes out, which is the thing. They manage to elevate the song. They give the song its progression, its elevation, its build, just through the vocal performance, through the way that they really sort of put attitude into the song. And that attitude is kind of, there's a lot of personality, there's a lot of, there's kind of, like I say, this sense that it's somewhere between being serious and fun. It's always kind of got that dramatic, but with the tongue firmly in the cheek at all times, kind of tone, and it just works. I mean, like I say, it really plays to what they do best, and I think that they come across really well here. So, like I say, this is one of those songs where I don't think it's going to stick in people's heads, and it's not going to be one of those memorable ones that they come back to over and over again. However, I think that just by placement and the fact that it's a good choice of song for, I would say, for the crossover in question, I think it could earn them some new fans. And I also think it gives, if you're already a fan, it gives you a nice, interesting little thing from them, which is not just them doing the, I believe people have told me it's called Kentako, they're just sort of doing the core whack writers, if you like, comfortable style. It's a little bit different. It's got a feeling that it gives you another little string to put on the bow of their portfolio of different songs and styles. Not to say that they've never done anything like this before, but they don't so much lean on these kind of EDM style crazy songs. Reminds me almost a little bit of the first song I heard by can't remember the name now, Empire, which was the first one I heard by them, was like so heavily produced in EDM that you virtually couldn't tell the vocals. But in this, again, all of that EDM style, all that heavy production, but the vocals really shone through with these guys. They were given a chance to do something interesting, and they made the most of it in the performance. So I really liked all that. We do have to quickly talk about the video. The video was, how to say, I think it was a really good match for the song. It did kind of give me some cheeky things to laugh about. I did like the fact that it had that thing, probably many of you are aware of this now, which is if you don't have the budget for visual effects, you probably see that, I don't know if it's just me, you get targeted advertising, and I do a lot of video editing, but on social media I get lots of adverts for like video effects packs, where basically you just shoot your video and then you just get a load of preset effects and you just put them on top. I mean, even Windows 10 comes with that now. Just the default video editor on Windows 10 now has 3D effects that you could just stick on top of things. And this just looked like that. It just looked like loads of After Effects just being stuck on top of things. So it kind of had a cheesy element, but it worked, and they played towards it right down to all the kind of weird floating guns and, I'm not going to say finger bang. Ooh, I just said finger bang. All of that kind of stuff. They really sort of played up the cheese with that as well. So again, it kind of had that feeling of being kind of like the song, being well enough made that you can take it seriously in its own right, and yet at the same time kind of being self-aware in that they know you're doing something a bit bombastic. Let's have some fun, let's go a little bit crazy, and let's make it clear that we're not taking ourselves too seriously. I did love the thing about having the school kids, dressed as school kids, all playing violent video games and basically being responsible for all destruction. Again, I kind of thought that was a tongue-in-cheek thing that they did very knowingly. So the whole thing to me had a good vibe. It felt good. It felt crazy, but it felt fun. It felt sort of well-made, but in a way that was knowingly a bit insane at the same time. The song covered some ground that they haven't covered for a little while. It was well produced. It had some good expression. It had fantastic production, mixing, and performances from the girls as well. yeah, just the whole thing came across really well to me, and I liked that. But like I say, I have to also admit that I do know that this is not going to be one that's going to sort of stand the test of time as one of their classics or anything. It's not going to be the song that people are going to come back to again and again and again. I just think it's very good as a single for the moment, for this particular crossover, for this job, for this time, for now. And that's basically all you can ask of from it. I guess maybe they could have pulled off a slightly catchier chorus, but yeah. Like I say, I'm willing to let that slide. So as always, you know what to say. I already know from a Discord that this has caused some splits in opinions, which I'm not too surprised about. So let me know in your words what you think in the comments. Why? Try to justify your opinions. Maybe comment on some of the things I've said, or maybe bring some new things in to add to the conversation. Feel free to like and subscribe, all the YouTube-y stuff. Follow any of our social medias, linked in the description below. They're actually quite good, especially the Discord and Reddit, because we have a lot of people in the community talking about Japanese music all the time. So it's a great place to find out about things that are happening and share your opinions with more people. A big thank you, as always, to the Patreons, because dear old Patreons, you do keep us alive, considering we are non-monetized people. We're non-monetized. So you are the ones who make this possible. Lights, camera, images, all that. Anyway, so thank you most of all for making it through to the end of this Wafflefest video, and until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these, for now, ciao ciao.